Okay, we might get started. So, hi everyone, and thank you for joining us today for a very special webinar in our webinar series, Referring Your Constituents to Community Legal Centres. My name's Carly Hanson and I'm the Sector Development Officer at Community Legal Centres Queensland, the peak body for CLCs around the state. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. So can you please press the button that looks like a hand on the GoToWebinar control panel in the top right corner of your screen? Okay, so I can see some hands going up, which is fantastic. So I think everyone hopefully can hear. So I'll just put all of those hands down now. And that way, if you do have any questions throughout, I can see those come through. So today's webinar is being recorded and a copy of the recording and the PowerPoints will be uploaded to our website this afternoon. So hopefully if you do not, you're not able to stay for the whole time, then you can catch up down the track. So firstly, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are holding this webinar today. In Brisbane, they are the Turrbal people and the Yuggera people. I wish to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge the important role that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders continue to play in our society. As this webinar is being viewed by people across Queensland, I'd also like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land throughout the state and acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander presenters and viewers here today with us. I'd also like to welcome and thank the Electorate Office staff who have joined us today or are listening to the recording of this webinar. We know you're super busy at the moment and we appreciate you taking the time to learn more about community legal centres operating in Queensland. Lastly, thank you to the presenters from the CLCs participating. We will hear from a selection of Queensland CLCs today who have all kindly provided audio or video recordings together with some written information about their services. So today's presenters include Basic Rights Queensland, the Refugee and Immigration Legal Service, Caxton Legal Service, the LGBTI Legal Centre, QAI, Queensland Indigenous Family Violence Legal Service, TASC, Cairns Community Legal Centre, North Queensland Women's Legal Service, Women's Legal Service in Brisbane, and Tenants Queensland. So I'd just like to give a quick overview of who Community Legal Centres Queensland is and what our role is as a peak body. So CLCQ provides support and advocacy for the 33 independent community legal centres operating throughout Queensland. Queensland CLCs provide free information, advice and referral, representation and casework services, community education and advocacy for vulnerable people and communities facing legal problems. CLCQ operates through a very small staff team and we provide member support services including an annual state conference, training, a webinar series and newsletters about matters of interest to CLC staff, volunteers and management committees. We encourage community participation and collaboration to help make the legal system more equitable and accessible, including linking people to legal information and services so they get the legal help that they need. We also provide support regarding professional standards for CLCs through the accreditation process and through the professional indemnity insurance management. Finally, we also provide representation for all members in relation to funding in emerging areas and advocating for fairer laws and beneficial programs and policies. So today, we will provide an overview of some of our member organisations, including contact information and referral processes for each of the CLCs, which will allow you as electoral officers to provide appropriate referrals to your constituents. I've also uploaded some warm referral forms and client intake forms that have been provided by a few of our centres presenting today, together with a copy of these PowerPoints into the handout section of the GoToWebinar control panel, so you can download those throughout. I'll also be putting up a recording and all of the handouts onto our website later. So at the end of the presentation, there'll be around 15 minutes for you to ask some questions of each of the CLCs. And so we can run on time, I'd ask that you please hold your questions to the end of the webinar. If you have any technical issues along the way, please either press the button that looks like a hand or type your query into the question box. And in any case, remember, if you do have issues or need to leave, you can view the recording later. Okay, so let's get started with Basic Rights Queensland.
Basic Rights Queensland is a community legal centre specialising in social security and disability discrimination law. 2/3 of our clients are living with a disability, and nearly all of our clients live on incomes of well below $500 a week.
Our clients seek recognition of the Commonwealth's duty to provide social security for those who are unable to earn an adequate income, and they seek deeper understanding of how to access their legal rights.
We provide a place for these people to get advice on the issues that affect their livelihood, so they can have the best possible opportunity to lift themselves from poverty and to fully participate in society.
Despite continuing economic growth, the most vulnerable have not benefited. Instead, they've been impacted by changes such as the increasing insecurity of work, loss of entitlement, and the reduction in real terms of social security payments for job seekers.
On a day-to-day basis, we deal with clients who have been left behind. These
Recognition of the Commonwealth's duty to provide social security for those who are unable to earn an adequate income, and they seek deeper understanding of how to access their legal rights.
We provide a place for these people to get advice on the issues that affect their livelihood, so they can have the best possible opportunity to lift themselves from poverty and to fully participate in society.
Despite continuing economic growth, the most vulnerable have not benefited. Instead, they've been impacted by changes such as the increasing insecurity of work, loss of entitlement, and the reduction in real terms of social security payments for job seekers.
On a day-to-day basis, we deal with clients who have been left behind. These people are in desperate need of help to gain access to the social security every Australian deserves.
This is the story of a Basic Rights Queensland client, Marco. Marco has a cognitive impairment and has been employed in the same national chain through the Assisted Employment Program for a number of years. Marco loves his job and being able to live independently. As he has difficulties with public transport, walking to and from work is of great importance to him. Unfortunately, a scheduling change determined that Marco would start work much earlier, but it was still dark. This was unsuitable for Marco and was deemed unsafe by his parents.
Marco's request for a later start time was denied, and Marco's employment representative refused to intervene. Marco contacted Basic Rights Queensland, who were able to negotiate with Marco's employer to ensure his work shifts would start when he could safely walk to work in daylight. With Basic Rights Queensland's help, Marco retained his job, continued living independently, avoided entering a cycle of unemployment, and steered clear of slipping into poverty.
Basic Rights Queensland is an organisation where disadvantage is addressed individually, but is also seen as a launchpad for creating systemic change. By sharing our clients' stories, we aim to educate the wider community about social security and disability discrimination law, and also to present the reality of the daily challenges that our clients face, and also to help break the cycle of poverty.
Okay, so that was Basic Rights Queensland. I've just popped up on the screen a little bit of information about their centre. I'll just hover it there for a moment, but essentially this is for you to refer to later. Hopefully the video has covered a little bit of information about what Basic Rights Queensland does and who they can support. All of their contact details are up on the screen. And just on the screen now, we've got the client eligibility for services through Basic Rights Queensland. And just a little bit of additional information there. So next we're going to hear from the Refugee and Immigration Legal Service, or RAILS.
My name is Bruce Wells. I'm the Principal Solicitor at the Refugee and Immigration Legal Service, or RAILS. We're the only specialist immigration law CLC in Queensland. We offer our services to residents throughout the state. We're based in West End in Brisbane. We also travel to Cairns, Townsville, Rockhampton, Toowoomba, Logan and Goodna, doing outreach clinics. We're happy to receive referrals for clients with any immigration or citizenship issues. That might include visas expiring or being extended, any offshore or onshore visa applications, cancellations, appeals or requests for ministerial intervention. The only requirement that we have is that the client be physically resident in Queensland. Initial advice is provided either face-to-face or by telephone, by our staff or through our dedicated band of volunteer migration agents. Any ongoing assistance we might offer would be subject to the capacity of our staff, our volunteers, the prospects of success and the ability of a client to engage private representation. Our principal areas of practice are protection visa applications, refugee family reunion, and also helping migrants who've experienced family violence and where that might impact on their visa status. RAILS also provides a lot of community legal education. We work with settlement service providers, offering general legal education to newly arrived migrants. We also run programs in Milperra and Yeronga high schools, teaching students about Australian law generally, about family law, respectful relationships, and how to appropriately interact with police and other authorities. We also provide clinical legal education to students of the University of Queensland and Griffith University Law Schools, and we present development seminars for other immigration law professionals. RAILS has referral arrangements with most, if not all, of Queensland's migrant support organisations and family violence service providers, but we also welcome referrals from the community, and the easiest way to do that is through our website, rails, rails.org.au.
Okay, so that was RAILS, and all of their contact details and information are on the slide for you. So next we're going to hear from Caxton Legal Centre, and I'm just going to pop the volume up because it is a quiet video, so please bear with me.
My name is Bridget Burton. I'm a lawyer at Caxton Legal Centre. Caxton Legal Centre is located in South Brisbane. We have a wide range of legal services. We have a generalist service which provides advice across a range of areas of civil and criminal law. We have a family law service. We have specialist services in employment law, consumer credit, anti-discrimination and human rights, coronial inquests, child support, parks and village information link, and a seniors legal and support service. There are some areas of law in which we don't practice, and the details of those are on our website. We provide a full range of legal and direct and indirect legal services for clients. We provide a very extensive advice program. We also have a social work service, which is available to those clients who we are assisting with a legal issue. We have duty lawyers in the domestic violence and family law courts in Brisbane. We have a publications service, which includes the Queensland Law Handbook, now wholly online and available for free. There is an extensive community legal education and law reform program at Caxton as well. Our community legal education services are available across the whole practice, but in particular, our Parks and Village information link and our seniors legal and support service have very extensive community legal education programs. We also offer representation to some clients in accordance with our casework guidelines. There is limited representation available across all of the areas in which we practice, but generally that's going to be available mostly to clients who are very vulnerable and who have problems where we feel as though our assistance will make the greatest impact. In some areas of law, we have funding to provide more extensive casework services, such as in relation to employment law, in particular dismissals, discrimination and sexual harassment at work. And we are also funded to provide more extensive support to bereaved families going through the coronial inquests process. Our general practice is available to clients where we are the closest legal centre, but our specialist services are generally available to clients all over Queensland. Our Seniors Legal and Support Services, the southeast corner, there are 4 other Seniors Legal and Support Services located in other community legal centres across Queensland. Some of our programs have very specific eligibility criteria. For example, our Seniors Legal and Support Service is only available to clients over the age of 60, and it has a focus on elder abuse. The employment law program is restricted to people who are or were earning $67,000 or less. For all of our other programs, advice is generally available to a very wide range of people. We don't engage any particular restrictions in relation to the advice, but our casework practice will generally only be available to people who are very vulnerable. You can get more information from Caxton by calling us on reception, calling us at reception on 0732146333. That's also the number that you need to phone in order to make an appointment with our service. All of our advice is offered by appointment only, and we have advice appointments available during the day and in the evening most days of the week. There is also a lot more information about us available on our website, which is caxton.org.au, and on the Queensland Law Handbook's own dedicated website, queenslandlawhandbook.org.au. If you need to refer a client, or if a client wants to call up and make an appointment for themselves, then the telephone number that I gave you before is the number to call. And just again, if you missed it, 32146333.
Fantastic. So that was Caxton Legal Service, and there's just some information on the screen about the services that they provide. And the client eligibility and referral process, and contact details, of course. So next we're going to hear just a short clip from the LGBTI Legal Service.
Hi, my name is Matilda Alexander. I'm from the LGBTI Legal Service. We provide legal advice and assistance and representation to members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender and intersex community, particularly matters relating to their sexuality and gender identity. We help with things like domestic violence in the LGBTI community, transgender people wishing to change their documents or to negotiate with government departments. We help with family law matters like separation and surrogacy arrangements. We work with discrimination and employment law issues for the LGBTI community.
Short and sweet information there from the LGBTI Legal Service, and there's a little bit more information up on the PowerPoint slides for you in terms of the areas of law they assist with and the services they can provide. And of course, it's good to know what the LGBTI service cannot help with and eligibility for their services. And their contact details are just up on the screen as well for you to refer to later. Next, we'll hear from the Queensland Advocacy Inc, QAI.
My name is Rebecca Leong and I'm the Principal Solicitor at Queensland Advocacy Incorporated. QAI's mission is to promote, protect and defend the fundamental needs and rights of the most vulnerable people with disability in Queensland. QAI does this by engaging in systems and individual advocacy. We are located in South Brisbane and our services are statewide, although face-to-face services are limited to within a day's drive from Brisbane. QAI is a specialist community legal centre with 4 distinct individual advocacy services. The Human Rights Legal Service provides specialist legal advice and conducts strategic casework aimed at protecting and promoting the fundamental human rights of vulnerable people with disability. The aim of the Human Rights Legal Service is to increase the access of people with disability to the law. Priority areas of work include restrictive practices, guardianship and administration, and forensic disability. The Mental Health Legal Service provides legal advice and representation to individuals receiving involuntary treatment for mental illness in Queensland. This service regularly represents before the Mental Health Review Tribunal. The Justice Support Program provides non-legal advocacy for people with a disability who are suspects or have been charged with a criminal offence, and the person's disability is a contributing factor to their situation. The first priority is to ensure the person accesses legal advice or representation. However, the focus is to advocate for their access to appropriate and responsive supports, which will help to prevent the problem reoccurring. QAI's newest service, the NDIS Appeals Support Service, is based in both Brisbane and Rockhampton and provides non-legal advocacy, support and referrals for people who are dissatisfied with a National Disability Insurance Agency decision. The advocate can help by explaining the review processes, assisting with the preparation of the required documents, and attending Administrative Appeal Tribunal conferences and hearings to help the person put their case to the tribunal. QAI services are available to people living in Queensland who have or have been diagnosed with a mental illness, intellectual disability, cognitive impairment, and/or profound disability. The level of assistance provided will depend on the person's vulnerability, including financial hardship, community access, social supports, cultural or linguistic backgrounds, literacy, capacity to self-advocate, and the merit of their matter. People seeking assistance can contact QAI on 07 38 44 4200. They will speak with our intake officer, and if they meet our eligibility criteria, they will be booked into our next available advice appointment. A decision will be made by the caseworker at this first appointment as to the level of assistance we can provide. Clients seeking representation will be required to sign an agreement with QAI. Our services are free, independent, and confidential.
Thanks, QAI. Fantastic. So next we're going to hear from Quivels. And they've got a video.
The Queensland Indigenous Family Violence Legal Service, Quivels, is a non-for-profit legal service operating since 2010, when 4 legal services became one. The Capefield Family Violence Prevention Legal Service, the Indigenous Family Violence Outreach Unit, the Indigenous Family Support Unit, and Hallam-Yamba Family Violence Prevention Legal Service. This was followed in 2014 with additional service delivery to the Brisbane local government area.
Quivels is a not-for-profit legal service formed under the Family Violence Prevention Legal Service Program through the Department of Prime Minister and Cabinet's Indigenous Advancement Strategy.
This fills a recognised gap in access to culturally appropriate legal services for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander victims of family and domestic violence and sexual assault. Quivels is a unique, specialised and culturally safe frontline legal service that supports access to justice and keeps victims of family violence safe. Quivels addresses the need to reduce family violence and increases safety in Indigenous communities.
Quivels provides full legal service in the areas of domestic and family violence, family law, child protection, sexual assault, and Victims Assist Queensland applications. Quivels supports its clients through all stages of the legal process, from legal advice to representation throughout court proceedings. Quivels is mainly an outreach service where our teams go into rural and remote communities to meet with clients. Quivels services over 50 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities throughout Queensland. These include communities in regional and remote Queensland, including Cape York, Northern Peninsula area, the Gulf of Carpentaria, and Central Queensland. In addition, Quivels provides assistance and representation to clients who live in and around our offices locations of Cairns, Mount Isa, Rockhampton, Townsville, and Brisbane.
Quivels provides a culturally appropriate service to our clients and supports them through the legal process, from advice to representation through our court proceedings. We have a solicitor and a client support officer team approach to help ensure the legal services are provided in a culturally appropriate way. Our client support officers are Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander, and they provide support including referrals to specialist support services and counselling services as needed, and court support as well. Our team of solicitors provide legal advice and advocacy for our clients within the legal process. Quiffles offers legal advice, support and full legal representation in the areas of domestic and family violence, so applications, variations and hearings, child protection matters, family law matters, victims assistance application for victims and survivors of domestic, family violence and sexual assault, victim support, so preparation of victims' impact statements and related support. Quiffles also provides early intervention and prevention support within our communities by way of raising community awareness and in turn accountability through community education sessions and community legal education sessions. Our audiences have included primary and secondary school aged children, women's, men's, parents and playgroups, community members, family responsibility commissioners, justice group coordinators and participants in ATOS, anger management programs and parenting programs. Our community education and community legal education sessions provide attendees with in-depth knowledge of the legal system and processes associated within the areas of law that we practice, and also the individual's rights and obligations. Quiffles provides our communities with tools and information to firstly identify behaviours that are considered domestic and family violence, for example, healthy and unhealthy relationships and elder abuse, and secondly, how to address those behaviours. Lastly, information about access to supports available within their community and their surrounding areas. We also deliver sessions to stakeholders as a form of informal staff development training.
Domestic and family violence is particularly prevalent in Indigenous communities, especially those that Quiffles service. The statistics clearly indicate that Indigenous women are significantly more likely to be victims of domestic and family violence than non-Indigenous women. Indigenous women are 35 times more likely to be hospitalised for assaults and 10 times more likely to die from an assault.
Indigenous people have higher rates of domestic violence and family violence order use in court than non-Indigenous people. However, Indigenous people are much less likely to be the person actually applying for those orders. In fact, police are the applicants in more than 95% of orders in many remote Indigenous communities.
Quiffles is a unique, specialised and culturally safe frontline legal service that supports access to justice and keeps victims of families' violence safe. Quiffles addresses the needs to reduce violence and increase safety in Indigenous communities.
So a comprehensive look at the work that Quiffles does there, thank you. And I've just put up some information on the screen if you'd like to refer back to that later. And their contact details up on the screen as well. That's the statewide contact information and the offices around Northern Queensland. Okay, next we're going to hear from TASC National.
Hi there, my name is Miranda Woodland and I'm a solicitor at TASC National. TASC is the largest regional community legal centre in Queensland. We provide legal and social services to vulnerable and marginalised clients in Ipswich, Toowoomba, Roma and South West Queensland. We employ around 35 staff across 3 separate office locations. TASC is a community legal service that provides both generalist and specialist services. Throughout our generalist service, a large portion of our work relates to family and domestic violence matters and parenting issues. We also provide legal advice and assistance in relation to civil matters such as neighbourhood, fencing disputes, debts and minor civil action. Our disability law project is often referred to as the cornerstone of TASC. Through this project, we assist clients living with a mental illness, disability or acquired brain injury who have been charged with a criminal offence. It's a holistic program which our clients receive assistance both from a lawyer and also a social services advocate who work with them to ensure they're connected with the community to improve general life outcomes. Another of our specialist programs is our Seniors Legal and Support Service. The SLAS program provides legal and social services to older people concerned about or facing physical, emotional and financial abuse. We also have a specialist program to assist women who are vulnerable and isolated in rural areas of southwest Queensland, known as the RWALS program. TASC is able to offer regular face-to-face outreach clinics to women in Charleville, Tara, Roma, Chinchilla, Miles, Warwick, Stanthorpe, Gundawindi and Dalby. Through those clinics, we assist women with a range of issues with respect to separation and relationship breakdowns, including domestic and family violence, child protection matters, and also legal advice about minor civil law disputes, consumer credit bonds, and criminal law matters. TASC also partners with the University of Southern Queensland to offer a family law clinical placement for their students. Through this project, students work side by side with our family lawyers to gain some practical and valuable legal experience. Students are assessed on their ability to interact with clients, undertake legal research and draft legal correspondence. TASC also provides a number of smaller programs, including our form clinic, where people with literacy difficulties are provided with non-legal assistance to complete everyday forms. We also provide volunteer after-hours clinics for clients who are unable to attend legal appointments during the day. We are also on the Legal Aid Practitioners panel in Ipswich and Toowoomba, meaning that we are able to provide duty lawyer services in the Magistrates Court in relation to domestic and family violence and child protection. We also provide legal representation to clients with matters before the Mental Health Review Tribunal. In addition to all of that, we have two major non-legal programs to assist in disability advocacy and community managed mental health. We accept referrals from clients themselves, community professionals and concerned family members and friends. To find out if you or someone you know is eligible for our services, you can simply call our office on 07 4616 9700 or visit our website at www.tascnational.org.au. We're open Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. till 4:30 p.m.
So that was TASC National, and you heard from Miranda. I've just popped up on the screen some of the areas of law they cover and the services they provide. And then on the next screen, we'll see their contact details for each of their offices, including their website. Next, we're going to hear from Cairns Community Legal Centre.
Hello, my name's Giselle Negri. I'm the Director of the Cairns Community Legal Centre. The Cairns Community Legal Centre provides the only generalist legal service in the far north. It therefore provides legal services across a variety of areas of law, for example, family law, domestic and family violence, peace and good behaviour matters, employment law, discrimination, various mental health, work, motor vehicle damage matters, consumer law matters, traffic matters and some crime. The Centre also provides a specialist seniors legal and support service for seniors who have been abused or exploited by someone they trust. As well as legal work, the Centre also offers some social work support for seniors affected by or at risk of abuse and exploitation. There are some areas of law that the Centre doesn't do, for example, intellectual property, copyright, trademarking, immigration, native title, personal injuries, and obviously commercial work. The Centre provides information and referrals, legal advice, and in some circumstances also ongoing casework assistance, although this is limited due to the resourcing and other capacity of the Centre. Essentially, the Centre provides legal services for members of the community who are experiencing disadvantage, have a legal problem that we're able to deal with, and live in the geographical area covered by the Centre. For all practical purposes, this is more or less just far north Queensland. Referrals can be made simply by contacting our office, either in person or by phone on the Centre's 1800 line. Appointments can also be made through the Centre's website. Our opening times are Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. when our phone lines are open, with our doors being open to the public from 9 till 4. We also provide a variety of outreach services, and bookings for these can also be made through the Centre's main office.
Fantastic. So you heard from Giselle at the Cairns Community Legal Centre, and all of the information that she spoke about is up on the PowerPoint slides. Next, we're going to hear from the North Queensland Women's Legal Service.
North Queensland Women's Legal Service is a specialist community legal centre providing free, high-quality legal advice and assistance to women in North and Far North Queensland. We provide advice and assistance in family law issues, including advice when separating or contemplating separation, assistance with divorce, help with making parenting arrangements after separation, and also resolving property matters between the woman and her ex-partner. We can help with domestic violence matters, including applying for a protection order and then advice if a protection order is breached. Child protection matters, discrimination, tenancy issues, and also some credit and debt. We provide information in all other areas of law and can provide referrals, including warm or assisted referrals to the woman, so they can obtain further advice regarding their legal issue if it is outside our area of expertise. Our service area extends from Serena, which is south of Mackay, up to the Cape and the Torres Strait Islands and out to the Northern Territory border, basically the top half of Queensland. We have an office in Cairns and one in Townsville where we can offer face-to-face or phone appointments. These can be during the day or in the evening. We travel to a number of outreach locations as well to deliver monthly face-to-face legal advice clinics at each location. We partner with community centres to deliver these clinics. From Cairns, we travel to the Tablelands Women's Centre in Atherton, the Mareeba Information and Support Centre, the Community Support Centre Innisfail, Mossman Community Centre and the Port Douglas Neighbourhood Centre. And from Townsville, we go down to the Burdekin Community Association in Ayr, Prospect Community Services in Charters Towers and the Hinchinbrook Community Support Centre in Ingham. As well, we have appointments available at our site hotspots at the Cooktown District Community Centre, the Kuranda District Neighbourhood Centre, the Whitsunday Crisis and Counselling Service in Proserpine, the Mackay Women's Centre and the Centre Care in Mount Isa. The centres manage the bookings for us and the women can contact the centres directly to make appointments, or we can make appointments if the women contact us. We also have a free call advice line that operates throughout our service area from Monday to Thursday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is answered directly by a solicitor so the woman can get immediate legal advice. For women who have to appear at the Cairns or Townsville magistrate courts involved in domestic violence matters, we have a duty lawyer service where the women can get advice about their matter, and then the duty lawyer can represent them in court and at all mentions of their matter. However, we have limited ability to represent at final hearings. We also operate a duty lawyer service at the Cairns and Townsville Federal Circuit Courts for women who have family law proceedings on foot. Again, we can provide advice and representation at mentions, but limited ability to appear at hearings. We also provide advice and appointments for those women who are incarcerated at the Townsville Women's Correctional Centre. Referrals to our service can be made by calling or emailing either the Cairns or Townsville office or the relevant community centre if the client lives in one of our outreach locations. The contact details are on the slide. We provide advice to all women, regardless of their circumstances, their assets, income, etc. However, if they require ongoing or further assistance, that is targeted to those women who are experiencing disadvantage, especially financial disadvantage.
Okay, so that was North Queensland Women's Legal Service. Lastly, we have Women's Legal Service in Brisbane. Earlier when I was doing some tests, this video didn't work, so bear with me. I've got a backup plan. Thank you. Okay, looks like we're going to backup plan. doesn't want to work either. Sorry, everyone. Hopefully that will work now.
We're a specialist community legal centre. We provide free legal advice and social work support to women throughout Queensland. We give advice only in the areas of domestic violence and family law, and we are specialists in these areas. Our services are targeted to the most vulnerable women in Queensland. 40% of our clients live in regional or rural Queensland, and 1/3 of our clients are from non-English speaking backgrounds. We target services to women with high and complex needs on low incomes, and we are noting an increasing complexity of the matters that come through our doors. We help women through a variety of forums. The most accessed is our statewide helpline, in which women can call in and get appointments for legal advice. We also have a rural, regional and remote legal advice line where women can call and get on-the-spot advice from a solicitor. We also provide face-to-face appointments with women's legal service lawyers and social workers, although we're flexible and we can make these telephone advices if the clients would prefer that. We have an evening legal advice drop-in sessions that are staffed by a panel of volunteer lawyers where women can drop in and get up to 30 minutes of free legal advice in Monday and Wednesday evening. We also provide legal advice and advocacy at the Brisbane Women's Correctional Centre. We provide legal advice at Mount Gravatt and Logan Family Relationship Centres. We're currently running a health justice partnership where we give advice at Logan Hospital and Princess Alexandra Hospital, and we are looking to expand to more hospitals in future. We also provide a duty lawyer service for domestic violence matters at 3 courts in southeast Queensland. While we primarily give legal advice only to women, we do have a limited capacity to provide full representation to particularly vulnerable clients. Our domestic violence units in Brisbane and on the Gold Coast can provide representation to vulnerable women who cannot access legal advice and representation through other means such as private lawyers or legal aid. So how can your constituents access women's legal service? Firstly, the statewide helpline is the most popular way that women access us. This is run on Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and is staffed by experienced paralegals who triage clients and then make appointments for them to get advice with solicitors. Those advices are provided either in person at our office in Annerley or on the telephone. These appointments are booked 1 week in advance. Any woman who calls our helpline and her matter is urgent or she needs immediate advice will be put straight through to a solicitor who's present in the helpline room at all hours that the helpline is open. Our regional, rural and remote advice line is open on Tuesdays from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and it's solely for women who live outside of Brisbane. Advice is given on the spot by a solicitor. Our evening advice service operates at our Annerley office and is open on Monday and Wednesdays between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Women can drop in and get up to 30 minutes of advice by our volunteer lawyers as well as our volunteer support people. We also have a warm referral process where we receive direct referrals from referral partners and women will get an appointment with a solicitor. This can either be face-to-face or by telephone. These appointments are generally longer than our helpline advices and are up to an hour, although we do make longer appointments where we need interpreters. A copy of our referral form will be provided to you if you feel that you would like to use this referral pathway for your constituents to access us. And finally, we run a domestic violence duty lawyer service at 3 courts where women can come and get advice and representation for their matters on the day. We're at the Ipswich Magistrates Court on Mondays, we're at the Holland Park Magistrates Court on Wednesdays and the Caboolture Magistrates Court on Thursdays. Thank you for your time today.
Okay, so we've just now heard from Women's Legal Service, and I'm just going to get back to where we were up to in our original presentation. So please bear with me just a moment. Okay, here we go. So we'll hear from Tenants Queensland now.
Hello and welcome to Tenants Queensland Q-Stars. To start off, we're going to go through some data about rental properties in Queensland, and then we'll go through who we are, what we do, and some of the resources that are freely available. So in 2016, census data showed that 566,500 households were renting in Queensland, which is 34.2% of households, and it's higher than the national average of 30.2% renting. The top three issues that were highlighted were terminations by either lessor or the tenant, repairs and maintenance, and bond disputes. So this data shows that there is a growing need for tenancy support services in Queensland, as 1 in 3 rent. Tenants Queensland is one of those support services. It was established in 1986 and is a community legal service. The aim of Tenants Queensland is to protect and improve services for residential tenants and to remain in the forefront of tenancy law reform and policy development. Tenants Queensland runs the new program, which is called Q-Stars, and stands for Queensland Statewide Tenant Advice and Referral Service. This was started in October 1st in 2015 and gives free statewide advice and referral services for Queensland tenants. Tenants Queensland runs this program in collaboration with other organisations across Queensland. So on this slide, it shows you our 7 partners and also our 8 Tenants Queensland offices. In the map, you can see the Tenants Queensland offices represented by the purple spots and the 7 Q-Stars partners represented by the green triangles. So the people that we can assist are tenants in private rental, social housing, including public and community housing, caravan parks and boarding houses. However, we can't assist lessor agents or housing providers. We can't assist head tenants if they have a dispute with a subtenant, and we can't assist in neighbourhood disputes. What we can actually assist with, we can assist with understanding tenants' rights and responsibilities, supporting to resolve tenancy issues, advocacy support to talk to a lessor or agent, writing letters or filling in tenancy forms, attending or preparing for a QCAT tenancy tribunal hearing, and if English isn't the tenant's preferred language, we can also access translating interpreting service. If needed, we can also refer to other services. What we can't actually assist with, we can't help out with finding and applying for rentals and rental bonds, providing housing, applying for social housing transfers, providing financial assistance, or providing emergency relief. To access our services, we have the Tenants Queensland Q-Stars advice line, which is 1300 744 263. You can call through from Monday to Friday from 9 till 5 p.m. On Tuesday and Wednesday, we do have extended hours from 9 till 7 p.m. For any other queries, we have our Tenants Queensland Administration line, which is 3832 9447. If you need further clarification of our service, any requests for community education presentations, or any requests for resources. So the resources that we have freely available are on the Tenants Queensland website, which has videos of RTA and QCAT and how to resolve disputes. It also has online fact sheets, which includes tenancy facts, room and accommodation, share house and domestic violence fact sheets. On our Q-Stars website, we have online fact sheets for general tenancies and rooming tenancies. We also have our Q-Stars slide, which shows you our referral process. These can be ordered through 3832 9447 and mailed to your office. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, so that was Tenants Queensland, so our last presentation for today. Some information up on the screen as discussed. So we've come to the end of the CLC presentations, and thank you again for letting our electoral office guests know all about your services. It's now time for Q&A. So there are two ways you can ask questions. If you've got a microphone or you've phoned in, you can press the button that looks like a hand on the GoToWebinar control panel. We'll see a hand go up at our end and we can unmute you, so then you can ask your question via the microphone. The other option is for you to type your question into the question box on the control panel. So our CLC presenters can hear. I'll read your questions out and then pass them over to them for comment. For CLC staff who don't have access to a microphone, please type your answer in and I'll read the response out for everyone. So I'll just open that up now for questions. Just while I'm waiting for those to come through. You can also email your questions over to me and I can pass them on, or you can you can email the presenters directly at the email addresses that they've provided to you. For those who are listening at home, if you'd like more information about the CLCs who've presented today, you can contact them directly on the numbers they've provided, or you can visit our website and view the full CLC directory, which has contact details and important information about all 33 of the community legal centres in Queensland. So I haven't seen any questions come through just yet. So what I might sort of talk to you about while I'm just waiting for those to come in is that often there is a bit of confusion around the work that community legal centres can do versus the work that legal aid can do. So we are all legal assistance services, but we do have slightly different guidelines about who we can assist and the work that we can assist with. So as you may know, legal aid has means and merit testing and can only help with certain areas of law, generally family, criminal and some other civil areas. Whereas, as you hopefully have seen today, the community legal centres throughout Queensland can assist in a slightly broader range of areas. Some are specialist, some generalist, and some have a statewide reach, whereas others are more localised. So we don't have any questions coming in. Oh, hang on, we might have one. Let me have a look there. Okay. All right, so another thing is that you might have heard the term warm referrals throughout the presentation today. So that simply refers to a facilitated referral or a referral whereby people may sort of have a little bit more information provided about their situation and the legal assistance they need, passed on from one service through to another service. Sort of just helps go through, overcome some of those barriers. So I've just got some information here as well from Bridget, and Bridget is from Caxton, I believe. So Bridget has just asked me to let everyone know that when people refer a client to us, to let the client know they'll be asking some questions to work out whether they can help and who is best for them to see. So they'll need to provide their full name, the name of the other parties to make an appointment. So it's really important in the community sector that we do our conflict checks and make sure that we are able to provide legal advice and are not breaching any of our confidentiality requirements as lawyers. So when they do come in for an appointment, they'll also need to bring all the relevant documents with them. So I think that will be the same for most of the community legal centres around that you may make referrals to. So, you know, most of the time we will be required to ask their name, the name of the other parties involved, and see any documentation that's that they've already received. Do we have any other questions today? I know that we're getting close to the end of time. Okay. I'll just give a couple more minutes in case anyone else. Oh, okay. So got a question here. So this one's actually from a CLC worker to the electoral office workers. So if we've got any electoral office workers that can assist with this, that would be really helpful. So what sort of issues do electoral office workers encounter, and how can CLCs work better with local officers? Also, if an electoral office is doing a warm referral for a constituent, they may need to get permission from that person to pass on the name and phone number so that the CLC can phone the client back. So just another comment there. So I don't think we've got too many people sending through other questions, and what we might need to do, Wendy, your question there about the kinds of issues that electoral office workers get, we'll see if we can find that out for you and get back to you after the presentation. So I might draw it to a close today. A reminder that today's webinar is recorded, so we'll send the link out later this afternoon to our website so you can view the webinar, download the PowerPoints, and download the other materials that some of our presenters have provided in terms of warm referral forms and client intake sheets. So thank you so much for your attention and participation today. We look forward to receiving your referrals soon.